Alright, so we're just at the local gaming store, about to play a 2,400 point game of Warhammer Fantasy. We're just doing a custom scenario we just kind of thought up right on the spot. Each of these bridges is worth 500 victory points if held, and then just normal victory points rules apply. So, my opponent is playing Beastmen, and we'll just go over his list.
We have one Razor Gore, one Gorgon, one Tuskor Chariot, 35 Gores with Great Grey Shaman, another 35 Greca Gores, 6 Minotaurs with Grey Weapons, with Doom Bowl and Gore Bowl BSB, and another 2 Razor Gores on the side.
Alright, and then on my list I got a Spirit Host, unit of 6 Cryptors, Terrorgeist, another Terrorgeist, unit of 19 Skeletons with a level 1 Vampire and a level 1 Necromancer, 48 Ghouls with a Ghoul Champion and Henrik and Krell, Spirit Host, and a unit of 3 Vargheists. And we rolled off for who gets the first turn, and it's Beastmen get the first turn.
Actually, I'm going to double check if you can charge the rivers.
So we just finished Beastmen turn 1. He just kind of moved up to the river with everything. Those Gores are actually where his dice are on the bridge. And then these guys just kind of moved up. Big unit of Minotaurs are on the bridge, and Razor Gores are up against the river as well. In the magic phase, he just wild formed his Gores, and I wasn't planning on attacking him this turn, so I just let it go. He tried to 4 dice Flock of Doom on my Spirit Hosts, and I dispelled it. And so there's no shooting, so we are off to Vampire Counts turn 1. So we just finished my turn 1. Ghouls just kind of sat there. Spirit Host just kind of sat there as well. Terrorgeist flew up. Vargheists held on onto their frenzy check, so they didn't have to charge in. Cryptors walked up to the river, found out it was a river of light, and they ended up getting the blessing with the -1 to hit. So, good old blessed Cryptors. Skeletons in this normal forest just kind of moved around. Terrorgeist kind of stayed where he was, and the Spirit Host kind of stayed where he was, so he couldn't get charged by the Minotaur. And in the magic phase, I tried to cast Curse of Years on his Gores, and he dispelled it, which then gave me 3 dice to cast whatever I want, because he ran out of dispel dice. So I tried to raise dead in front of the Gores, and rolled Snake Eyes, so I failed. And in the shooting phase, this Terrorgeist shot at those Gores, killing 5 of them. And we are off to Beastmen turn 2. So we just finished Beastmen turn 2. He only declared 1 charge, and now as these Gores through the river into my Cryptors. He got the net of Amnioch onto his Gores. Minotaurs moved down. Those guys marched over onto the bridge, and his chariot kind of moved over. Beastmen kind of looked over here. His Gorgon ran across the river and got the speed of light, so he's now initiative 10, weapon skill 10. In the magic phase, he tried to do License Wild Form onto those Gores, and I threw on my dice to dispel it. And then he tried to Flock of Doom my Spirit Host, so I had to scroll that because that guy needs to get onto that onto the Gorgon. And then he got the Pan's Impenetrable Pelt onto that unit. In combat over here, he did 3 wounds to my Cryptors, and I did 8, so I ended up winning by 5. By 3, sorry. And because he had a charge and a banner, and he rolled a 3 for his sticking around. So my Pharaoh's protection's gone, so that kind of sucks. But we are off to Vampire Counts turn 3. So we just finished Vampire Counts turn 3. My charges were I tried to charge my Spirit Hosts into his Gorgon and rolled 2, so I didn't make it. The Vargheist charged into the Chariot. That was it for my charges. Over here, my Necromancer walked out of that unit to just go hug some Minotaurs over here. And I raised a new unit of zombies on this side in my magic phase because I rolled Snake Eyes, and it was the only thing I could think about doing. For the rest of my movement, I flew a Terrorgeist over into the river, who now has Time Warp on him, and flew another Terrorgeist over here. So I was 8 inches on either side of the Minotaurs, and then screamed them to death, killing 4.
15 wounds worth of guys.
Yeah, it was nice. In the combat phase, my Vargeists jumped up and down onto the chariot and killed them all. And my my Cryptors took 2 wounds, but ended up winning by 1, and the Gores are still there. So we are off to Beastmen turn 3. Alright, so we just finished Beastmen turn 3. The Gores charged down the bridge into my Spirit Hosts, and the Gorgon kind of just ran out of the river over to here. The Minotaurs also, the 2 characters charged out of that unit into my Skeletons, and his unit champion charged into my Necromancer. So, in combat, in Magic, he did Wiston's Wild Form on this unit, and that was it for Magic. And over on here, oh no, he tried to cast the transformation of Kadan or whatever, and I dispelled it. And then over here in this combat, I ended up beating him by 3 or 4, and he broke. And I chased him down, panicking the Razor Gores. And we over here, the Minotaur beat down my Necromancer, but I did 1 wound to the Minotaur. And over here, I issued a challenge with my Vampire. He is a Sword of Anti-Heroes, so he was hitting with 6 attacks, strength 7. Did only 1 wound to his BSB because he had a 4-up ward that he just could not fail. And his Doom Bull ended up doing 8 wounds to me due to just stupid stuff. Like every model that's in contact, he gets +1 attack. This is going to be strength 6 or 7. And then every model that he saves an armor save from, he gets another attack. So he just did work into those skeletons. And in this fight over here, my Spirit Hosts didn't wound anybody, so I just popped due to combat res. And so we are off now to Vampire Counts turn 4. So we just finished Vampire Counts turn 4. In that turn, I charged my Ghouls up into his Gore unit. Vargeist just kind of swung around. Their guys both flew over to look at these Doom Bulls, like into the Minotaurs that were in fighting with the Skeletons. I charged into the rear of his Minotaur with my zombies, and then over here I charged his Razor Gores with my Spirit Hosts, which caused him to flee. And then after he fled, I charged him again with my Cryptors, and then he fled off the table from that. So needless to say, they both failed their charges. In the Magic phase, I raised a unit of zombies in front of the Cygor so that I could... for the Gorgons? Wait, is it a Cygor or a Gorgon?
It's a Gorgon.
Gorgon. In front of the Gorgon so I could kind of control my flank in front so he couldn't come in on me. And that was it for Magic. In the shooting phase, I did 2 wounds to his Doom Bull, and then the other Terror guys rolled Snake Eyes and could not do another wound to him. So in the combat, his Minotaur just mopped me up. My zombies ended up killing the Minotaur with a single wound to the ass. And they ended up... I was kind of stupid. I overran into the Minotaurs, thinking that I could get the extra rank bonus, and hoping that the Terrorgeists would kill the Doom Bull. So I'd get the... Like, in the fight with the BSB, I would still win by ranks and rear and stuff. But it didn't happen. And over here, he rolled like shit. He failed to get his hatred off, and then killed 2 ghouls altogether, and I did like 13 wounds or something like that, and like plus some overkill, and then so he had Snake Eyes. He failed. I ran past the Gorgon, and it is now Beastman turn 4. So that was just a quick Beastman turn 4. His Gorgon charged into my zombies and just wiped them all out. And then his 2 Minotaurs charged into my Terrorgeist. Doom Bull was on the flank, and then his BSB was in the front. They beat him up. I wounded the BSB by 2. He saved his ward save, and we are now off to my turn 5.
Can kill them.
So we just finished my turn. All I did was reform my ghouls, move my Terrorgeist over here, and raise this unit of zombies onto the bridge so I can control it. I moved my ghosts over onto this bridge to control it, and then flew the Terrorgeist behind the Minotaur, and reformed my Cryptors so that it's out of the Doom Bull's forward arc. but in doing so, I got light of battle. Hip hip hooray! So I did two more wounds? Two more wounds to the Doom Bowl with my Scream. He's got one left, and we are off to Beastmen turn 5. So we just finished Beastmen turn 5. Gorgon passed his leadership 10 to be able to march. Walked to the side of my ghouls, and Doom Bowl also passed, and then walked over onto the bridge to try and contest it, and the BSP charged into my Crypt Horrors. It gave him the 5's protection, so I had to -1 to hit. He did 1 wound on the charge, I did 1 wound back, and so he's still there. He's got 1 wound left? 2 wounds. And yeah, so we are off to Vampire Counts turn 6. So we just finished Vampire Counts turn 6. Reformed there. Vargeist just kind of went onto the bridge. And then I flew my Terrorgeist over to his Mentor Lord. Screamed at him and he died. I lost that combat huge. I didn't make a single regen and then he just beat me down. And my magic phase, I ended up getting 10 dice and just chose not to cast anything, just so that I didn't get sucked into the warp. And we are off to Beastmen turn 6. So we just finished Beastmen turn 6. Nothing really happened. His Gorgon just tried to get on the bridge, but he can't make it within an inch of my guys, so he can't actually make it onto the bridge. And over here, he passed his marching test and then contested the bridge, so no one gets victory points for that one. And it's looking like a solid victory for Vampire Counts.